Good morning. Thank you for attending this emergency briefing. As you're no doubt aware, 12 hours ago, a cluster of 7 massive meteorites changed their course, seemingly at whim, to strike the planet. One struck our capital, instantly killing over 3 million civilians, with more dying from the fallout every minute. The other 6 hit at what seems to be targeted points around the globe to initiate drastic climate change. Each impact site has resulted in deep tunnels piercing the crust of the planet. Our scans indicate that there is alien activity in these tunnels. Our regular fighters are incapable of navigating this terrain. It'll be up to you, the Anthropomorphic force, to investigate and eliminate any threats you encounter. Good luck. Welcome to Mike's Gaming Gala. I'm Mike, and this week we're looking at Anthropomorphic Force for the Intellivision, published by Elektronite. AF, which is what we're going to call this from here on out, because who the hell wants to keep saying anthropomorphic, comes in a nice gatefold box with professionally printed manual, overlays, and of course a new injection molded cartridge. AF retails for $70, and it's a Kai Magazine title, so I'm expecting good things. Let's have a look. After the splash screens, we get a lengthy intro to set up the story. The farm planet Dionysius 4 has been attacked by what seems to be meteors that have redirected themselves, and one of them has impacted the capital city. 3 million citizens were killed instantly, and more are dying from the fallout. Scanners detect deep underground tunnels at the impact zones, with strange life forms inhabiting them. It'll be your mission to explore them and deal with anything that you encounter. Pressing the disc at the title screen gets you into the options menu, where you can start a new game, view the credits, adjust the music volume, or erase your saved data, which for this game is your high score. Pressing start, you choose your difficulty level, and then you're into the game. AF is a shooter that has you descending through 7 levels of pain. Yep, I said pain. I'm pretty sure that the F in AF really stands for f***ing hard. Like I was saying, AF is a shooter kind of in the vein of Caverns of Mars. There are 7 levels where you descend through these winding tunnels, shooting everything you can and dodging what you can't. This is easier said than done, but there are several power-ups that you can get by shooting enemies. The first is weapon upgrades. The orange P blocks will upgrade your firepower from your base rapid shot to a double shot, and if you collect another P block while you have the double shot, it'll upgrade one more level to a spread shot. This is fantastic for eliminating enemies before they can even have a chance to get at you, because with a 3rd level of weapon, you finally have something that shoots down at an angle. A huge advantage considering all the levels scroll vertically. The second upgrade you can get is the yellow B block, which stands for barrier. Picking this up gives you kind of a shield with this ball spinning around you. This ball can not only block bullets if it hits them right, but also destroys enemies. Very handy for those extra tight corridors where something might be right under you where even a spread shot can't get at it. The third and last upgrade available is speed enhancement, which comes from the blue S blocks. Especially later in the game, there will be situations where you may need to change the path you're taking quickly, or dash to avoid an enemy. These speed upgrades are cumulative and can make you more nimble in your descent. That said, sometimes speed can be a curse. AF is a one-shot death game. No hit points here. So at higher speeds, you can sometimes be trying to make a subtle course correction and end up in the path of a bullet, or even worse, into a wall. The lack of precision of the Intellivision controller can sometimes enhance this as well, which can be frustrating. During my gameplay, my controller must have been getting stuck because it would occasionally flip my direction. It's a reality of aging hardware, so just be aware of that, or pick up one of the controller replacements out there, such as the Long Play controller or BD Retro Mod's arcade stick. I don't believe that this is one of the games that requires the use of a 16-direction disc, so both of those should be fine. I should probably also note that AF has IntelliVoice support. Whenever you pick up one of those power-ups, it will tell you what you picked up, be it power-up for a weapon upgrade, barrier for the barrier, or speed up for the speed upgrade. Like I said before, there are 7 levels of pain here, each with 3 sections including a boss at the end of every tunnel. Thankfully, you have infinite continues, and those continues bring you back to the last checkpoint that you reached. That's awesome, because you're going to use them a lot. Level 1 is a comparatively easy one, with bright orange and yellow walls that have animated grass on them. I love all the added graphical elements in this game, as it would have been really easy to simply make the environments be static. But Oscar Kenneth pulled out all the stops to make every tunnel here a visual masterpiece. He's even implemented some parallax scrolling for the backgrounds. Enemies in this level are wall slugs that jump out at you, as well as flowers that will shoot at you as you fly past them. Exiting the bottom of the tunnel into a wider chasm, you encounter your first boss fight, this giant earthworm. Dodge when he lunges towards you, and shoot him when his mouth is open, and you should make short work of him. Level 2 has a more technical feel to it, with girders in the background as you descend into a structure that seems to dive into the core of the planet. In addition to the enemies from level 1, you have spiders on the wall that will crawl up and down to jump out at you at the worst times. That's just a teaser for the boss in this level though, a giant spider. It took me a few tries to get the hang of this guy, but I eventually realized that you have to hit him low. When you move to the top of the screen, he'll back away. So do this until he's at the edge of the screen, then swoop down to get some shots in before flying to the top again to get him to back away. Rinse and repeat, and this guy shouldn't be a problem. Level 3 is a rocky tunnel with water flowing down it. A neat addition here is that the water isn't just there as a background element. When you fly into it, it actually pushes you down. It can be a bit subtle, but you'll hear the sounds of water splashing on you as it happens. If you see two potential directions that you could go, and one of them looks like it's filling with water, choose the other one. Pooling water means a dead end, and you can get trapped if you go the wrong way. This level adds yet another enemy for you to enjoy, these flying white squids that kinda look like they might want to reproduce with you. Unlike the other enemies you've met so far, these guys take multiple hits to kill and are difficult to dodge sometimes, so be careful around them. Getting to the end of Tunnel 3, you dive into dark waters and are attacked by this jellyfish. I consider this guy to be a big step up in difficulty from the previous bosses. He'll charge at you either from the top or the bottom, and it can sometimes be tricky to anticipate. As with all the bosses, just stay to the left and dodge as best you can, landing shots on his dome at every opportunity. Level 4 is like an ice version of Level 1, where we have the same style walls and grass, but now with a blue color scheme. As is to be expected, we have all the previous enemies we've come across here, as well as these. Okay, the flying squids were one thing, but now we're not even trying to hide what this is. Yep, if you get to Tunnel 4, you're rewarded by being assaulted by sperm. These things charge at you and can be difficult to avoid. Ideally, you want your spread shot to take care of them, but if you don't have it, just try to get beside them as they launch upwards, and you should be fine. The boss here is the giant earthworm again, but now he's faster. The same technique as before applies here, but I recommend not getting cocky when he's about to charge. Get out of the way fast. Level 5 is the tech scenery again, but this time with a green palette. This is where the navigation of tunnels starts to get really hard, with lots of tight passageways and dead ends that you may not have the speed to avoid unless you know that they're coming. The bright side though is that there aren't any new enemy types here, just a conglomeration of all we've already faced so far. And that'll be the case for the rest of the game. At the bottom of the tunnel, we once again face the giant spider, but you guessed it, faster. This time, make sure you really let him get all the way back before you dive down to attack and leave yourself plenty of time to flee to safety when he charges. Level 6 is a vibrant color change from Level 3, this time with lava pouring down the walls. Don't worry though, the lava acts the same way as the water and won't destroy you. I actually found the navigation in this one to be easier than Level 5, not nearly as much swearing as I progress downwards. You get no trophy for guessing what the boss here is. As you descend into the lava pool at the bottom, you battle the jellyfish again, just faster. The same advice applies here as it did in the previous two cases. Be extra cautious, cause this guy moves fast. And then, finally, we're at the last stage, Tunnel 7. This one is brand new graphically and has great uplifting music. which you'll need in order to keep you from throwing your controller across the room only to have it bungee back and hit you in the face because in the 80s they thought that phone cords were the way to go for video game consoles. With tight passageways and dead ends that really aren't obvious, this level will test your skills and your patience. This tunnel will also test your speed in some places, having you dart from side to side while being shot at to get to the opening down. Spread shot is almost a necessity for some spaces, as it'll allow you to focus on the navigation required to reach the bottom. Finally reaching that bottom, we enter a wide, dark cave, possibly expecting another earthworm, when holy crap! Okay, reaching that cave again, we encounter the final boss, this hybrid alien dragon snake. He can be a little unpredictable, and he shoots a lot of bullets at you, but in many ways his attacks are in line with the worm. He'll charge from time to time, but his weak spot is his lower jaw, so stay underneath him if you can and just blast away. Defeating this final foe, we get an end cutscene where you're given an explanation that ties in not only the introduction, but also the other Kai Magazine games Ninja Odyssey and TNT Cowboy. In fact, you may recognize this large cylinder from the end of one of those games. To see the full ending though, you'll have to play the game. Or watch my gameplay tomorrow. And that's Anthropomorphic Force for the Intellivision. So what did I think? In a word, fantastic. But if I could use two words, the second would be hard. This game is no joke, and I can't picture anyone beating it if it weren't for the very kind infinite continues. That, combined with the checkpoints in each level, makes AF approachable despite the difficulty. I can't count how many times I failed and failed until finally getting to the checkpoint and being so relieved that I wouldn't have to go back. Like all Kai Magazine games, the graphics and music in this one rank among the best there is for the system. I also found it incredible how despite the Intellivision sprite limitations, there were still definitely times here that it felt like bullet hell, which probably had a lot to do with the confined spaces that you navigate. If I had one criticism, it wouldn't be with a game, but rather when you're making those precise movements, the Intellivision controller is sometimes not your friend. That aside, I would absolutely recommend this to anyone with a love of shooters. I consider it to be one of, if not the, best on the system. Thank you so much for watching my video. I hope you liked it. As promised in the channel update, there's a thank you to my members. I appreciate it so much. And as always, my contact information is in the description of this video if you want to get a hold of me. So we'll see you next time on Mike's Gaming Gala.